पूछेगी धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब कहाँ थे तुम, स्वच्छता और पानी हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी। सोचो तो क्यों है आज सहमा सहमा पानी, ये चुपचाप पानी क्यों। चलो बदल दे ये कहानी कहानी, बचा ले निशानी हम। पूछेगी धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब कहाँ थे तुम, स्वच्छता और पानी हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी। है कब से नाराज गुस्सा गुस्सा पानी, ये क्यों उदास पानी क्यों। चलो बदल दे ये कहानी कहानी, बचा ले निशानी हम। पूछेगी धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब कहाँ थे तुम, स्वच्छता और पानी हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी।
Drip, drip, drop, drip, drop, drippity drop, drip, drop, drip, drip, drop, drip, drop, drippity drop.
चलो बचा ले ये धरोहर पुरानी, ये तेरा मेरा पानी।
Drip, drop, drippity drop.
चलो बदल दे ये कहानी कहानी, बचा ले निशानी।
Drip, drop, drippity drop.
पूछेगी धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब कहाँ थे तुम, स्वच्छता और पानी हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी। पानी स्वच्छता और पानी 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 हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी।
Thank you, Devika. Sachari, I think we are good to start. Sachari?
Yes, so there's a little bit of queuing, so we'll just wait for another 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
And I told Devika to play it again.
Okay, okay.
I don't mind listening once again.
सोचो तो क्यों है आज सहमा सहमा पानी, ये चुपचाप पानी क्यों। चलो बदल दे ये कहानी कहानी, बचा ले निशानी हम। पूछेगी धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब कहाँ थे तुम, स्वच्छता और पानी हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी। सोचो तो क्यों है आज सहमा सहमा पानी, ये चुपचाप पानी क्यों। चलो बदल दे ये कहानी कहानी, बचा ले निशानी हम। पूछेगी धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब
trippity drop, drip, drop, drip, drip, drop, drip, drop, trippity drop.
चलो बचा ले ये धरोहर पुरानी, ये तेरा मेरा पानी.
Drop, trippity drop.
चलो बदल दे ये कहानी, कहानी बचा ले निशानी.
Drip, drop, trippity drop.
पूछे कि धरती तब कहाँ थे तुम, नदी रो रही थी तब कहाँ थे तुम. स्वच्छता और पानी, हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी. पानी, स्वच्छता और पानी, पानी पानी, हमको बचानी है ये जिंदगानी.
Devika, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you everybody for waiting so patiently. Thank you for waiting. We had a small technical glitch at our end, and we would start the session right now. Just give me a moment. I'll pull up my screen. Is my PPT screen visible yet?
Not it.
Um,
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. So first of all, let me introduce myself by the time the screen sets up. I'm Devika Ganeshan. I'm a senior research associate at ASCII and the WASH Innovation Hub member. I would like to introduce my team. Professor V. Srinivasachari, he's a center director at ASCII and the CEO of WASH Innovation Hub. Dr. Y. Malini Reddy, she's a professor at the urban governance area.
Dr. Mali, we lost Devika, I think.
I think so, and the screen is frozen as well.
Okay.
Let me just call her and check, sir.
Yeah. Can somebody has access to the deck?
Yes, sir.
So why didn't you go for it?
Sir, till the time this is there, the other person cannot share.
No.
So just
just-
ask the admin to remove her so that she can rejoin later.
Yes.
I've started sharing.
Yeah, Sayan, go ahead.
So in this webinar, we have participation from Devika is back again.
Devika's screen is still visible. She has to be removed so that, yeah, that's good.
So Priyanka, please go ahead. Yeah.
From slide 1.
So Malini, would you like to kickstart?
Yeah, sure, sir. So, sorry, we've been having too many technical glitches today, and I think we are finally set to go. Thank you very much for your patience, and welcome to one and all for one more series in the Inkwash Dialogues. We will be speaking to those of you who don't yet know about Wash Innovation Hub and Ink@Wash, which I think would be very few because it's quite popular now. But to start off, this is a series of dialogues that we have where we bring in fantastic innovations in the water and sanitation and hygiene space, particularly with the intention of building an understanding among city officials to be able to take these to ground and implement them. So today is one such dialogue, and we are very happy to share with you that, Sarah, next slide, that we have the interest in these dialogues is growing over time. For this webinar itself, we had over 500 registrations from almost 8 to 9 countries. So about 20 odd states in India and about 8-9 countries. So the interest in innovations, interest in startups to solve the most challenging problems in the water sanitation sector is growing, and we are very happy that we as ASCII, we as Inkwash, we as Wash Innovation Hub are here to take you through, take you along this journey. Next slide. Of course, this is the participation, and this is also one more thing that you would be very happy to know, that the participation in our dialogues, most of the participants are government representatives, which is extremely heartening to see, because usually these summits are attended by the innovators and they tend to talk to each other. But it is through these dialogues, we're able to see that a lot of government officials are engaging with the innovators and actually taking these to the field and implementing them. Next, please. So this is in line with the World Environment Day. We are celebrating it. We know that it gets very dense. There are too many webinars and workshops that you'll be attending on the World Environment Day. So we thought we will hit it a little early with you. The focus of this year is Only One Earth, and the focus is on sustainability in harmony with nature. So today's sessions are aligned completely with that. Next slide. Just to resonate with the theme of World Environment Day 2022, it's collective transformative action on a global scale to celebrate, protect, and restore our planet. And what better way to work on water sanitation initiatives? Next slide. So with that, I now hand over the proceedings to Professor Chari. We have lined up 5 fantastic innovators. Many of them are award winners as recent as the FICCI Innovation Awards, which we were very happy to and proud to have supported them in making their application. And in order to kickstart today's event, we also have Ms. Neetu Kumari Prasad, IAS Member Secretary, Telangana State Pollution Control Board with us, who's been kind enough to spare some time for us and will be sharing our thoughts. So with that, I request Professor Chari to please make his introductory remarks and also introduce Ms. Neetu Kumari to all of you. Over to you, Professor Chari.
Thank you. Dr. Malini, can you hear me?
Absolutely, sir. Very clear.
So I think, first of all, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And I'd like to profoundly thank Neetu ma'am for taking out her time and agreeing to deliver keynote address on the occasion of the World Environment Day. So let me take this opportunity to introduce the context of today's theme is about innovations in water and sanitation, and why Telangana government and ASCII thought about establishing what is called Wash Innovation Hub. So we just launched, our Honorable Minister, Mr. K.T. Ramarao has launched this Wash Innovation Hub. And I would like to give you a context for why we are having this conversation and what is the need for WASH Innovation Hub. We need to recognize on the occasion of World Environment Day that we just have about 8.5 years to achieve this very, very ambitious sustainable development targets, particularly targets related to 6 and 11. 6 is about water and sanitation, 11 is about cities and habitat, and there are many cross-cutting issues like gender and partnerships and many other components which are so critical for our human development. And we need to recognize that there is a sense of urgency, there is a sense of importance that we need to accord on this occasion. Now, we need to realize that on this occasion, we need to recognize and realize that in urban areas, we lose about 40% of the water we produce. We bring water from hundreds of kilometers with multi-stage pumping, but we lose about 40 to 60% of water, be it in Delhi, be it in Bangalore, be it in Chennai, be it in Hyderabad, or you take any municipal corporation, municipalities, water efficiency is a big, big issue. So we need to recognize that if you want to really protect our future, we need to bring in efficiencies, we need to bring in a number of solutions to solve some fundamental issues, water efficiency being one of them. Let me also amplify on this occasion that we just recycle in India less than 1% of the water that we produce. We call it as used water. So the water or used water or wastewater, we recycle less than 1%. And this, we use fresh water for flushing, we use fresh water for many, many applications, which is actually not needed. And instead of that, we need to use recycled water, but we actually recycle very, very less quantity. Less than 1% of the fecal waste or septage is safely processed in our country. This is again a big challenge, that human waste we produce day after day is actually less than 1% is processed scientifically. And this has pathogens, this has a number of host of organic pollution issues. Just to highlight and amplify why we need innovation, 70% of urban India and almost 90% of rural India, we use this technology called septic tanks or on-site systems. This septic tank is more than 100-year-old solution. We haven't reinvented it. We continue to use the same septic tank even after 100 years, but the world has moved on, technologies have moved on, solutions in various sectors, be it healthcare, education, and agriculture, lot of innovations have happened, but when it comes to water and sanitation, our technologies got stagnated 100 years back. This scene that you see for removing blockages continue to prevail even in 2022. This is not acceptable. And we have a whole lot of other challenges: construction and demolition waste, bioremediation issues, single-use plastic. The list is long and time is short. And I think this is where we need to capitalize. We need to really work around the revolution that is happening around the world, be it IT, be it robotics, be it IoT, be it sensors. We are not embracing these solutions to improve basic services like water and sanitation. And that is an anguish. And that is a concern currently. And that is the reason why governments are relooking at the way they are delivering services. They're looking at transformational solutions. They're looking at frugal solutions. They're looking at agile and inclusive solutions. And they're asking us to reinvent ourselves. Neetuji is one such leader. It is in this context, Government of Telangana Municipal Administration Department and ASCI has come together and created a new idea called WASH Innovation Hub to bring innovators and startups to a common platform, provide an ecosystem for them to advance, introduce in municipalities, towns, corporations, water utilities, not just for Telangana, but for the whole country and beyond. It's basically a partnership initiative of Telangana and ASCII. And the idea is to transform the WASH outcomes of Telangana and India and later. And we had a big event on 5th and 6th of May. And we have seen that a lot of innovations are available in the country, but they're not getting penetrated into the government systems. We have mapped more than 700 initiatives in the country. As I said, we have mapped more than 700 plus innovations in the country. Why these innovations are not moving forward? And that was a question we asked. And WASH Innovation Hub is basically to bring these innovations and the partner organizations like state governments, municipalities and national government, funding organizations, R&D laboratories, pollution control boards, and investors into a common problem to solve some of the key challenges confronting the citizens, especially the poor, be it water, be it municipal solid waste management, hygiene, gray water, black water. These are all the fundamental citizen services, and we need to really look at solving some of these problems by bringing innovators and governments together. And that's the whole genesis of WASH Innovation Hub. As I said, we had a big meeting on the 5th and 6th, and this is an extension of the conversation we had to put spotlight on some of the fabulous innovators today. Today, we are going to have focus on 5 interesting innovators, and we are going to continue this conversation, bringing cities and innovators together so that cities embrace these innovations. Now, good news is Government of India has asked us to run this challenge on their behalf. They have earmarked 200 crores for startups under Amrut Mission. And this has been announced. Many of you are participating in this, especially startups. And we are going to have this another big event with 20 lakhs prize money for each of these 100 innovators. So things are moving in the right direction. And as I said, we have signed an MOU with 116 partners. And today, the focus is on 5 of such partners. The whole idea is to collaborate and make this journey in an accelerated way. And that's where we need support of the not only municipal administration, we need support of the regulator like pollution control boards and environment and forest and CPCB. So we are going to bring all of them into a common platform so that at a national level, these solutions get embraced. These solutions go faster rather than creating bottlenecks across the whole procurement systems in the government. So with this introduction, now I would request Dr. Malini, you want to say anything? I see your hand.
Just one point before Neetu ma'am starts her talk. If I may request all the participants to please look at the name against, and change it. There are just too many Chari Vedalas. We are getting scared.
No, that's because they have shared my link because of the technical glitch.
I know.
So they're all my duplicates. Let me tell you, they are not. There is only one Rajinikanth, they can't be duplicates.
Yeah, and we can handle only one Chari Vedala. So I request everyone to please change it so that if questions come, we can address with your name.
Okay. Please change your names if you can. Thank you very much. I would now request Neetu ji to deliver keynote address. She is from the Indian Administrative Service, held a number of positions, a dear friend and also fabulous officer, currently leading the member secretary Pollution Control Board, and many of you know her. So with this few words of introduction, I would request her to deliver keynote address on this occasion of World Environment Day. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Chari, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would like to congratulate ASCII and Telangana WASH program for bringing together innovators and city managers, municipal commissioners together, because many times we are quite aware of technology, but there is no proper connection between innovators and people who actually implement the programs at ground level. When the innovation and applications come to ground level, then I really remember my Israel visit, which had happened recently. Ministry of Jal Shakti had sent almost 20 officials from PCB, Jal Shakti, like irrigation and water resources, and municipal commissions also. These two things, waste management and water management, when we talk about sustainability and then innovations, then Israel is a world model. They have taken up a lot of innovation, and 80% of Israel area is actually falling into desert. But with innovations, with new startup, and with proper policy framework, they have made their country like oasis between like all those dry places. First, when we talk about water, when I visited, I felt that there is no lack of technology or new startups in India. But why we are not able to implement those innovations or those technology? Because of maybe policy gap. Water is actually state property in Israel. Very interesting. So you cannot dig any borewell. Not only water, even wastewater is also a government of Israel property. It's not a individual property. Even if water is like in your land, you cannot claim it. Just like gold. Even if gold is there under your land, you can't claim it is a property of government. Same thing is water. So when Israel country was formed in 1948, their entire source of water was Sea of Galilee. Galilee is, it is north of Israel and part of like near to West Bank and Gaza. After exploitation around 90s, they found that the source is not able to meet all the requirements. And then the innovations happened. They found that wastewater treatment can be used for agriculture because 50% of their water is going to agriculture. In fact, as per if you see the data, whatever is the fresh water available in entire world, 70% is being used for agriculture. So agriculture is a major consumer of fresh water. We can't like give any like sea water or any other water available to agriculture. So what they have done, whatever the drinking water pipelines are there, along with that they have put sewage line. So whatever is like water pipeline length is there, same with sewage line. So their treatment facility is almost 90% or 95%. We claim Hyderabad is a very like upcoming city, and we are almost like top cities, but still Hyderabad city itself has only 50% coverage of sewage line. So you can see the entire country has got almost 90 to 90% of coverage of sewage line. And then what they do, all these water after treatment of like secondary and tertiary also, they use it for agriculture. So their entire agriculture, and their agriculture is like almost #1 occupation of Israel, because they don't have many industries. Their only service sector is important. So the entire agriculture sector is depending upon wastewater. They don't waste even one drop of water, even wastewater. So that is quite beautiful example. And in our cities also, first we have to put our sewage system so that a lot of like health related diseases and other things can be controlled. And then wastewater can be actually used for your gardening or even for agriculture also. Our country is like very vast, so that cannot be replicated. The Israel model cannot completely replicated, but at least we can tend to like some part of agriculture demand by this wastewater treatment. That is one point of learning. Second, a lot of innovations are available and they actually use it. Like they know each and every sector, or like they have divided all these water line into a field, that catching area into a field, and they know that what is the demand, and because meters are there, but entire 100% water is metering, 100% is a closed circuit, there is no subsidy available. So whatever, if you if you are using water, you have to pay, and that is depending upon all your metering. So when metering is there, you will come to know what is the demand of a particular area, and because of technology available, because of measurement and continuous monitoring, you will come to know where the leakage is happening, because suddenly the demand will go up, even though the water will not be consumed. So that is called innovations. And I think those techniques, because when I was municipal commissioners in 2005, Again, I was additional municipal commissioner in GHMC in 2009. All these technology used to be told to in seminars or in meetings, but I think due to lack of universal metering, we are not able to implement these ideas, these innovations, this technology, because unless your 100% metering is done, you cannot actually find where is your usage, where is leakage, and where is like misuse of water. If we talk about water efficiency, then lot of innovations are available in market, like sensors based, and you can come to know that where leakage is happening. Even satellite based technology also will be able to tell that where is leakage happening. So if immediately we can put our machines and men and machinery to arrest those leakages, I think very precious natural source can be saved. Then third thing about their water management is like they have put a lot of concentration on drinking water. And when drinking water thing is there, they are not using the fresh water source of Sea of Galilee. As I said that when they started, the country got into being in 1948, the dependence upon Sea of Galilee, the natural source of fresh water, was 100%. Now they depend only 10 to 15% on natural source of water. 50 to 60% is now they came from sea, and sea water is being treated, then used for fresh water. 60 to almost 50 to 60%, and by 2030 they want to convert almost this requirement to 90%. So that is actually another innovation. We know about Chennai, and Chennai is near sea, but a lot of like I think drinking water problem is there in Chennai city. So I think if we can use a reverse osmosis technique, although it's like costly, but drinking water is a precious resources, and then it has to be like given to the public. It is like natural right. So with these technology, drinking water and even sea water can be reclaimed as drinking water. And third thing, what they have done, they have got all these geohydrological data almost of 50 years, and they very closely monitor their aquifers. So wherever like they find that some aquifers are getting dried or a lot of exploitation is happening, there they actually artificially inject fresh water. So that they call new water. That is again very natural concept, because in India, I think it's not as much feasible, but we have a lot of rain and surface water. We are very lucky when we see Israel and when we see like rainwater during monsoon, we feel we are blessed by God, because such a like large volume of water, if we are not able to conserve this water, it is going to sea finally without use. So maybe like small check dams and small water holding tanks, groundwater recharging tanks can also be made under like NREG's scheme, or under like irrigation and water resources thing. Also those fundings are available. So I think Government of India and a lot of state governments have also realized this requirement, and they have taken major steps towards this. So I think that is about waste water management. About waste management, I have seen their facilities, and I don't find much actually treatment difference in Telangana, especially in hazardous waste. In Telangana Pollution Control Board, we are almost doing the same thing which Israel government is doing, of course, with not that efficiency, but systems are there. So, and even for like GHMC, whatever waste treatment is being done in Hyderabad waste management facility, that is quite scientific. Only thing is it has to be scaled up. Small municipalities and Gram Panchayat are still not into that network, but those examples are to be emulated in other cities and other rural areas. They have got basically a landfill, and then they have got also recycling unit for plastic. They have also got 15 megawatt of waste to energy plant, which is actually working. And they have also taken consent from Pollution Control Board for 15 megawatt use of RDF, that is refuse derived fuel. That is also again from produced from waste. So that entire facility is like A to Z solutions and innovations also, because I am aware this facility is not available in many of the medium and small cities, but at lower level or maybe at cities like 4 or 5 cities hub put together, these facilities can be installed. So when the technology starts from segregation, because if waste is not properly segregated, it can never be properly actually managed, and we can't like have a proper management of dry and waste. So I think a proper campaign, public campaign, awareness campaign is to be taken up by state government, by civil society. We have to catch young children in the schools that dry and wet waste has to be segregated properly. From there, it starts the proper management. Once segregation starts, then it will come to the processing sector, and after pre-processing, the inert waste can go to landfill. Then all those recyclable items like glass, like plastic, and many other items, wood, which can go to like different sectors where recycler units and other units can use it, and there has to be a proper connectivity between those recyclers unit and municipal administration. Many times these recyclers are working on their own, that land garbage pickers and rug pickers, they work quite alone, unregistered, and they're actually creating a lot of health hazard for nearby neighboring area for themselves also. So I think the proper connect between the city administration and the unregistered recyclers has to be established. Another thing is about the plastic thing. When we talk about recycling, so plastic, I think today a lot of innovators may speak about how to recycle plastic, and I am not here mentioning that what are the damages of plastic and how it is like almost waste is going to soil and our water and all other area, including air, because when you burn plastic, it will pollute your air also. But plastic can be almost 90% of plastic. If you ban single-use plastic, which cannot be recycled, which government of India is already doing, and from 1st July, we all are actually giving the banning the single-use plastic. If that is banned and properly implemented, the other plastic can be recycled almost up to 90%. So that is a huge achievement. Right now, in our Telangana state, we are able to recycle only 50%. So there is a 50% gap for recyclers, and we are like one of the advanced state in terms of technology and recycling. So think about other states, what is happening to those plastic. So with recycling, the plastic can be used again for making various uses, using it for various like equipment and plastic related items. But apart from that, alternative use is also oil. We can actually make oil with plastic, then bricks, which can be used for a lot of like states have also taken up these innovations, especially I think Tamil Nadu and northeastern states are a pioneer in this area. And then comes the building and construction material. So there also innovation is there. In Telangana, we have got almost 2 units, and there all these concrete, cement and other things can be reclaimed 90%. If you properly can bring all these construction materials to construction and demolition treatment project, 90% material can be reclaimed, including sand, bricks and other. That is quite a good achievement, because construction materials, the business models and the innovation and technology has to work together to bring such items which can be used and recycled. We also have to use such type of construction material in our building which are apt for recycling. So here also we in GHMC area, almost like all the construction and waste material we are trying to bring, because if it is left in the open, it is a major cause. The dust and other items are major cause of air pollution. So almost technology is there, but we need to work upon it. And talking about hazardous waste, which is like a big pollutant plus a great health hazard. we from PCB treat all these and regulate all these hazardous waste management. We have got a good center which is called treatment, storage and disposal facility, where we actually have landfill facilities for very hazardous inert waste which cannot be left open in the open environment. We have got incinerator facilities where almost all these hazardous waste is going into very high temperature, and then it will be afterwards some of the part will be used for manure also. It will become ash, but it can be used for further for manure. And then some of the waste which has got calorific value, actually we send it to cement factories for co-processing, and there it will be used for their cement production. So instead of using the fuel, fossil fuel, they use this energy, and that is also a way of saving energy and not bringing more carbon dioxide to our environment. So all such techniques and innovations are there, and as a young country, because you know that India has got maximum number of young people available in the entire world. So I urge all young people to start new hub and take the inspirations from a lot of other new startups. Telangana government is again pioneer in startups. India is, I think, number one almost now in bringing up new startups. So there is a lot of hope, and tomorrow is again World Environment Day, 50 years of actually starting of World Environment Day when it first started in Sweden, and there all of us, we take pledge that we will go into circular economy and bring more natural resources to our overall being. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity, and I hope that in future also I will be working along with you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, Dr. Malini, if it is okay, can we just place one or two questions there in the chat box to Neetuji before we start with our presentations of innovators? So, ma'am, there are a couple of...
You can sum it up for them, sir. Instead of
So, I think what the keynote addressed by Neetu Prasad, ma'am, is basically gave an example of Israel, which is a very vibrant ecosystem for innovations. You know, they are basically a landlocked area with devoid of water resources, but they use to the extent of 80% to 90% waste, used water, they call it, is recycled for agriculture and non-agriculture purposes. So they created what is called an ecosystem for innovation. And what ma'am is saying is that we are also moving in that direction. It's a matter of time. Policies are coming in on the way, and then things will improve. There are one or two questions, probably just to break the ice, is the issue that we are saying with regard to single-use plastic. What is stopping us from blocking the manufacturers of single-use plastic rather than taking up much later in terms of recycling? Why can't we just stop it right at the production level? I think this is a common citizen's concern all the time, that we allow the problem and then we try to solve it, and then again we ban it. So what is the genesis for this, and how do we deal with it? Over to you, ma'am.
So actually, we are stopping the producers. Yeah. From 1st July, we are banning, and afterwards, all the producers who are actually producing single-use plastic, PCB, are supposed to close those units. So that is like end of problem. But I think illegally some things will run, and as a society and as government, we have to regulate those things because policy is in place. That is one.
Yeah.
Why it has come into being? Because we are like a poor country, so still a lot of economy is dependent upon those things. To suddenly taking away all those things without giving any alternatives will create a lot of havoc. So I think that is genesis.
Absolutely. So that's true, because plastic, though it is environmentally not a great thing, but also it has helped from health point of view, hygiene point of view, it has really improved. So no doubt about it. So there's one last question. Is PCB doing an effort to bring the suppliers and the producers together, be it in the case of waste or in the case of glass, in the various products where vendors who are willing to buy as well as the producers, can they exchange through a portal, web portal? Is there any effort made in that direction?
we don't have any web portal as such. Like our Telangana Public Pollution Control Board website is there, but that is not a common platform for bringing municipalities and recyclers or like waste management agencies. But we have got the formal occasions where we have called municipal commissioners, we have called recyclers, we have called also like solid waste management agencies, and we work quite closely. If you see Ramki is also a private agency. They work on behalf of GHMC. So similar other areas also, I think all municipalities have called for tender for solid waste management end to end, A to Z, and they're all private agencies are involved. But those agencies which are working in not in formal area, they are not working with municipalities, because all agencies cannot work in work with municipalities. We have get together. We had meetings also in the past, and we are also working for more workshops to bring all such parties at common platform where ideas can be exchanged. And not only that, these people get the opportunity also to work with municipalities.
Yeah, thank you. I think in my view, it's more than the government. There are a lot of private startups who are actually aggregating this information. I think they are much better placed to bring both suppliers and the producers together. And I think we are going to share as a part of these dialogues and exchanges, where there are a lot of private operators who are actually doing this service, and they create a business case out of this. So I think we will take up some more questions as we progress, but I would like to, on behalf of everybody, I would like to thank Neetu ma'am for taking out your time. Now, we will start with the innovation sessions now. As I said, we have 5 interesting innovators lined up, and I'm going to invite each one of them one after the other. The first speaker is Mr. Pranav. He's a director of SatSen Solution. What Neetu ji said about satellite technology, geospatial technology, how Pranav and his company SatSen Solution is actually helping in bringing efficiency in mapping all the water resources and providing governance solutions and business models is what their company is doing. I now invite Mr. Pranav to set the context and also briefly explain what they do. Over to Mr. Pranav.
Thank you so much, Professor Chari. I hope I'm audible.
You are very much audible. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And, I would take this opportunity to thank the WASH Innovation Hub and Dr. Malani as well. So my name is Pranav Pasari. I'm the co-founder and technical director at SatSen Solutions. We basically use satellite remote sensing and geospatial analytics to develop business and governance solutions. So I'm going to share my presentation shortly. And, in the presentation, I have a slide which describes more about what we've done in India. So I think that would be a good way to share this information. So I'm just going to begin my presentation. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the Freshwater app. So this is a comprehensive digital tool for identifying, evaluating, and responding to water-related risks and for driving water stewardship. So, as I said, very quick, brief introduction of our company. So we are a team of remote sensing specialists, engineers, and business professionals who are passionate about using satellite Earth observation technology to solve the challenges of sustainable development, resource management, and climate change. We've successfully executed several projects in India, including those for Tata Steel and for Reliance Industries. Among the public sector, we've done pilot projects with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and with several pollution control boards, including Jharkhand Pollution Control Board, Kerala Pollution Control Board. So, everyone is here mainly from the WASH sector. And everyone understands is quite aware of the freshwater scarcity we face. I will just still re-emphasize this. The UN World Water Development Report states that 6 billion people will suffer from clean water scarcity by 2050, and that about 70% of industrial waste in developing countries and 80% of sewage worldwide is released to the environment without adequate treatment. in the opening notes, it was mentioned that India is much higher, the untreated sewage which is being released into the environment. So we can see that this is a very large problem with very grave consequences in the near future. So in the images below, I would like to show some examples of where satellite data was used to detect household waste. So on the left, we see an example from the Pampa River. And on the right, we see examples of industrial effluents being released into rivers. So, both of these being detected using satellite data. So conventional methods of managing water resources involve sample collection, laboratory or in situ testing. And these often only address the very immediate cause of the problem. And this happens at the water body level. So in the example on the right, we see a lake. So this is in Chennai. This had very highly eutrophic conditions in December 2021. This condition was remediated in early February 2022. But we see that there was a complete relapse of the condition by late March of the year. So we see that there is a need not only for addressing the immediate problem, but also addressing the underlying and root causes of these problems. So not just the symptoms, but the actual causes. And we can see that these challenges can be addressed by the use of satellite technology, as this provides a more holistic and comprehensive approach. So I'll share some examples of this, which is being facilitated by what we are calling the Freshwater App. So the Freshwater App, it makes use of 3 key concepts and technologies. So on the left, we see the first being satellite-based water quality assessment. The second is the catchment-based approach for water resource management. And the third is a causal chain analysis using a DIPSR framework. So I'll go briefly into each of these concepts. So in the case of satellite-based water quality assessments, we use multispectral satellite data to measure key water quality parameters, such as total suspended solids. So we have TSS, chlorophyll A concentration, CDOM, which is color dissolved organic matter. We can also look at various transparency like Secchi depth parameters. So all of this is done using the spectral properties of water constituents. And this can be done at a very high spatial resolution and very good temporal frequency. So it can be done repeatedly every 5 days, or in case of large water bodies, we can get even daily assessments of water quality. On the right-hand side, we see what is called the catchment-based approach for managing water resources. So this involves looking at activities and issues within the catchment as a whole, rather than considering different aspects separately. So this considers the interactions between land use, water resources, and the impacts of land management practices on these water resources. We will see the example of a causal chain analysis using the DIPSR framework in the next slide. But this approach basically identifies the drivers, pressure, state, responses, and impacts within a system. So, as I said, requires a shift in dealing with water resources, and we have to go from a reactive water management based approach to a proactive water stewardship approach. And this involves both site and catchment based activities. So in the example here, we see a moderately eutrophic lake. We see that the immediate cause of this condition is nutrient overloading. The underlying cause is agricultural and fertilizer runoff, while the root cause is improper agricultural practices. So the remediation at each level is also seen below. So we see that how there is, a different approach needs to be taken to kind of remediate this problem at different stages. The root cause sometimes may not, may be out of scope for one organization. So it could be, at a much higher level where there are educational and awareness programs need to be taken, or ordinance and regulations need to be done. But we still find it important to kind of document this, in our process. So, there is an example of the DIPSR approach here as well. So we see, within a catchment, if there are any issues, what are the driving forces, what are the pressures, what are the impacts. So, looking at this holistically, we can, identify issues and then kind of see how that can be addressed, not only at the water body level, but at the whole catchment level and at a larger regional level as well.
Now you need to move a bit fast. Over to you.
Okay. So I'll just quickly wrap up now. So as water resources come under growing pressures, we see even businesses are left vulnerable, and they need to take a larger role in this and kind of drive water stewardship. So we have a program for CSR in India as well. And just coming to my last slide, just finishing off here. So the freshwater app, the image of this solution can be seen on the right-hand side. This makes it easier to engage in water stewardship. It has an intuitive digital interface. It allows stakeholders to identify catchment bite phenomenon. In the example here, we see this application is being used by India's largest private water utility company. So they are an integrated township, and they're responsible for providing drinking water supplies as well as maintaining water bodies for recreational purposes. So I'd be happy to demonstrate this, to anyone who is interested. My email address is mentioned below. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you again very much, and I'll be happy to take questions at this time.
Pranav, can you pull it down, the presentation?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. So friends, what Pranav left a very powerful message for all of us. The cost of inaction is 5 times more than the cost of action. We allow the garbage to get accumulated, then we bioremediate. We allow the water body to go degraded, and then we try to invest in reclamation programs, be it Namami Gange, be it any river. This is called cost of inaction. The cost of inaction is expensive. What Pranav and his team is trying to bring is certain tools for us to visualize like a human diagnostic, like a PET scan, like various other tools that we use to identify the blockages in the system and find the causal relationship and solve the problem, be it through agriculture intervention or be it through other urban development or catchment irregularity related issues. I'm very, very grateful for Pranav to share, these experiences. Pranav, is this satellite technology? The perception is this is all high tech. This is for all these young chaps who are doing all this. Is it accessible to cities? Is it accessible to common citizens?
Absolutely. It's very, very accessible. And, I think that you might find it very cost effective. And, as I said, we've done this pilot. We've reached out to pollution control boards. We've done pilot projects with them. In fact, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, they wanted to use this technology for 3,500 towns in India. So all of these having a population of less than 1 lakh, they wanted to kind of use this approach to see, where the issues are. So there can be a very targeted approach to building sanitation sewage networks in those towns. So, I really encourage government sector people here to reach out. You will find that this is very accessible, very cost-effective tool. And, you can, Professor Chari, you put it across so much better than I have been able to explain it in very few words. So, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. So, Dr. Malini, you have a question to Pranav?
Yeah, just one question. Pranav, how would you describe the accuracy of the data collection? And the reason why I ask is that we earlier had an engagement where the satellite imagery was being used to understand the greenery in a particular city. And that was picking up grass also as trees. So it was showing the coverage as 60%, 70% green cover in a city. So, so from that background, how would you speak about the accuracy of your measurement?
Absolutely. Dr. Malini, that's a great question. And we get this very often as well. Firstly, this solution has been used extensively. We are currently doing a multi-year contract with Tata Steel with their utility arm. So this has been validated in-house as well. So we've been doing this since 2020 with them, and they have validated it in-house. And now we have an extension of 3 years with them. So we'll be doing this up to 2024 with them. Now, your question about accuracy. So, when we're looking at TSS or chlorophyll A concentration, this has performed really well in different domains from hydropower to aquaculture as well. When we are looking at precision, what I like to tell people is that, we very often hear about air quality as well. We hear that the AQI is bad in Delhi. So for example, it is above 300, right? And that is also measured using satellite data. And when we look at AQI, we know that above a certain level, it is hazardous. So say it is AQI above 300 is hazardous. Now it doesn't matter if it is 290 or 310, that indication alone gives us a lot of information. And I like to keep the same perspective here. While this technology is validated and there are very good results, I feel that even as a relative measure, it can give very useful insights to water resource managers about the state of their water bodies. Just really quickly, the satellite-based mapping for vegetation. So very commonly there is this index called NDVI which is used. And that actually picks up all greenery. So, it would confuse grassland or shrubland with trees. But here we use a very different technology, and we can say very clearly where there is chlorophyll A concentration in the lakes, where there is total suspended solids. So I would say that this can be used very effectively.
Thank you, Pranav. I think this is a great response. Friends, even Google Maps, Google Navigation uses satellite data. It's a question of how we use this satellite technology for our day-to-day application. We all use satellite data right now as we speak, everybody of us. Why are we not using for improving our work performance? Why are we not using it for improving water, sanitation, water resource management? And that's what Pranav is saying. Yes, there could be minor accuracy differences. Sometimes the e-commerce guy, the Swiggy guy, instead of coming to the doorstep, they may go somewhere behind, but that's okay. We can still sort it out. He's somewhere in the vicinity of the area, but still it is better than not having it. And it's actually getting better and better. So, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper. Thank you, Pranav, for taking it. This information and the case studies that Mr. Pranav spoke about will be made available through WASH Innovation Hub to all of you. His contact details will be available. His presentation will be available. Reach out to us, reach out to him directly, whichever way you feel comfortable. Now, from water resource management and satellite, we move to nuts and bolts of waste management. I now invite Sweta from Anthill, and they are a design engineer. They are into product designs, but primarily from waste management. Her profile and details are already shared on the in the group, so I'm not going to repeat her background and education. They're doing a fabulous work. That's all I can say as an introduction. I now invite Sweta to speak about their work and what they're doing to solve the ground level problems of waste management in our country. Over to you, Sweta.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And very happy to be here and being able to share what we do with, so many innovators, and well as in the hope of making collaborations as well. So I'm going to quickly share my screen and get started. Yeah, so today I actually want everybody to kind of look at this title, right? It says Water Secure and Garbage Free India Through Innovations. It's a beautiful topic. And the next thing I'm going to show you is this picture of these little kids who are, having the time of their life. They're kind of asking questions. They're looking around, trying to figure out, what they are doing and also what people around them are doing. So what I'm really going to do today is talk about these kids and how their everyday activities is actually related to the topic that we started with. Right. So this is a good introduction to what Anthill Creations does. So Anthill Creations is a nonprofit organization, and we're working towards making play accessible to all. And like Sir was saying, we are also trying to make an ecological impact in this journey. So I have a quick video that will kind of concise everything that we do, and I will then get into the details. Sorry.
Shweta, I can't hear anything.
Yes, just one second.
Shweta, you should be able to share the audio through the More tab, which shows up on your share screen panel. Do you want me to share the video instead?
Yes, I think that's good.
Yes, I'll do that.
Devika, you can start from the beginning.
Yes, thank you so much, Devika. So I hope all of you enjoyed that video, which is really a good introduction on what the work we do at Anthill Creations is. So today I'm just going to take you, I'm going to start with some journey since we began. So sorry. So we started off by being incubated by IAMB, and soon we were able to scale to the first 100 playgrounds that we built again all over the country. And soon after that, we launched one of our biggest collaboration with BPCL, which is where we did about 60 playgrounds across multiple states in the country. And that was one of our biggest projects. So soon after that, COVID hit, right? So we also kind of continued that project, and we built a few projects even during, during the lockdown as well. And I'm not sure why this is happening. I'm just trying to share my screen. Really sorry.
Let Devika do it for you.
Devika, can you?
Yeah. Yes, that'd be great.
And in the meanwhile, there is a question maybe you could answer. Why you named your organization Anthill? Is there any particular reason?
So if you look at an ant's hill, right, the whole idea that inspired us was how every single ant kind of plays its small role, and then it builds something larger than its own size. And it's able to, create such an impact being like a small player. So that's the reason behind Anthill, because Anthill is really more of a community. We have people from different sectors, from different backgrounds who come in, and that's how we're trying to create an impact. So I'm going to quickly run through. So Devika, we can just go to the slides. Yes. The next slide, please. Yeah, this is a bit of our journey and the team behind what we do. So getting into the actual impact, which is the playscapes. So all of our playscapes are user-centric. It has diverse activities. We keep the child in the center of it all. And we use materials, we upcycle waste materials like scrap tires, metal drums, cable drums, and we're constantly looking for new material that we can use in constructing these playgrounds. And our focus right now is in government schools and in low-income communities, but we do wish to create an impact in public spaces as well. So going a little bit deeper into our playscapes, we are actually on a journey from scrap yards to schoolyards. We're kind of transforming barren lands. Even we want to reduce the amount of tires that goes into landfills and make use of these waste materials. So our typical playground has about 6 elements. And again, this largely depends on the design and the space availability. So we have also converted black spots and even terraces of, in places, say in Mumbai, where there is no free land space, we have also converted terraces. A few numbers on terms of impact. So we have impacted more than 2 lakh children, and we have built over 300 playscapes in 20 states in the country. And we have upcycled more than 2 lakh kgs of tires. The next slide, please. So we do have a threefold impact. So in terms of the social impact, we are able to create a behavioral change where we have noticed a lot of teachers saying that the attendance rate in government schools have gone high. We've had stories where a child has stepped into the school just seeing like a swing, and they have played on the swing for say a few days, and then post that they've also started attending classes. So I think we're also addressing the fact that such activities or play for children actually improves their overall performance, improves their personality development. The next slide, please. So these are some of our other initiatives. Please feel free to reach out for more details as well. We have indoor play solutions that we launched during the pandemic when children could not access playgrounds. So we launched a box which had about 5 to 7 games, and each game caters to a different skill. We're also looking at intervening in existing infrastructure of schools, that is Play Ed, and also in terms of Playground on Wheels, which is a mobile playground. So I just request Devika to skip to the last few slides. Yes. Yes, the next slide, please. Yeah, so I'd like to bring across a very important statistic here. So till date, we have built over 324 playscapes, but still we have only been able to reach 1% of the children in need. And that is why we are kind of putting this proposal out to all of you here. The next slide. So we want to really closely work with 3 sectors, right, which will basically include all of us. So this year, this financial year, we want to impact 1 lakh plus children. And for this, we have to build more than 200 playgrounds and distribute at least 50,000 boxes. And with the government, how we want to really work is at the policy level. We do have the policy in place because playground is part of the basic infrastructure, but we would like to be implementation partners there. We'd like to get into child-friendly, nurturing neighborhoods, which we are slowly working on with a couple of governments, but we'd like to scale in that aspect. And also be a part of the smart cities infrastructure, where we're able to create these interactive spaces in public areas. And with the corporates, so we are a non-profit, so we do CSR projects with extensive partners, and we are looking for your support in creating a holistic transformation of schools, and as well as technical support in can we kind of combine all of our skills and still scale this impact
Shweta, you
in a
need to
way
wrap
that
it up. Thank you.
yes, and yes, I'm almost done. So in terms of organizations and individuals, we're looking for strategic partnerships, collaborations. So all of us and all of you here, if you feel like there is some synergy, please do reach out. So the next slide has our contact details. Yeah, always welcome to have a chat and kind of take this forward. And thank you so much, and apologies again for the technical glitches. But yes, thank you.
This is again a very wonderful initiative. I mean, it's my favorite also, where they're upcycling the discarded material and converting into very, very usable solutions. So Sweta from Anthill has explained very clearly how waste can be converted into very useful, not only playgrounds, but also community spaces, which is often devoid of basic sitting spaces, playing areas, and so many interesting things, which brings communities together, especially in low-income areas. So thank you, Sweta, for sharing your experience. Now, tell me just 1 or 2 quick points. You said somewhere that it takes about 6 to 7 days to put up a basic playground, and it costs about 4 lakhs. Is it true?
Yes, it is very true. We have optimized our process in a way that, so before we start a project, we take about 15 days time to pre-plan. Right? So that is our longest period. But once we are on site, we're able to build the playground entirely in 5 to 7 days. And yes, the cost is 3 to 4 lakhs, which is actually an increased cost, this 1 year. But before, we were also building playscapes for like 1.5 lakh. And we're able to do that because of our process. One is, of course, the use of materials, and also because we source all our labor and materials locally. So we're able to cut down on the transport cost, create a circular economy really, because we're supporting and creating employment in the surrounding communities. So this is how we're able to, reduce both those numbers.
Fabulous. Yeah. Generally, I have come across in a typical playground, it takes about 6 months, 4 to 6 months for a typical civil works related, activity. It takes a lot of time. And then by the time they reach, many projects have actually gets depreciated in a way because of the rainfall and many other things. So thank you, Sweta. One more quick point. How safe are these play stations that you create from children's point of view? Because that is one of the concerns people often express, that are they safe for children?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a question that we often get, and thank you for bringing this up. So there are 2 points, right? So one is in terms of the play equipment design itself. So we follow international standards for safety. So in terms of the fall height, it could be kind of the sharp edges or what kind of edges are present, all that we are taking care of in terms of the guidelines level. But in using materials like tires or upcycled waste, we do have an internal checklist. So we, even when I say scrap tires, we have a certain parameters that we have to meet when we are sourcing these tires from vendors. For example, the most common one is within tires, you have these metal wires. So we make sure that none of them are protruded. If it is, then we don't use that tire. We only use those tires which are completely safe. And even in terms of the execution level, even with bolts, like if bolts are exposed, we cut the bolts and put M-Seal on them. So we make sure that there are no sharp edges in any of it, and it is completely, safe to use, because we do two layers of paint, and we have a maintenance in place. So we are always in touch with the principals, the local, community leaders, and make sure the playscape is maintained. So,
thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mali. Any quick question, or shall we move to the next? So thank you, Sweta, for a wonderful presentation. We'll come back to you. The details of Sweta is already shared with all of you, and the presentation also will be shared with all of you. You can reach out to her and reach out to Anthill, reach out to Wash Innovation Hub for further details. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we move to the next presentation by Mr. Banerjee from Solinas. Now, friends, there are 2 fundamental problems that often we experience. Number one, the biggest challenge which India is experiencing is lot of human casualties and mortality and morbidity because of workforce going into septic tanks and manholes, as they say, inspection chambers. Every year, large number of sanitation workforce die because of, exposure to gases, exposure to various nasty substances, because of the desludging of manual handling of some of these septic tank desludging activity. Now, this is a serious problem in the country, often not addressed. The second major problem, as I explained, is a high incidence of water leakages in the system. We call it as non-revenue water. It means we bring water from hundreds of kilometers, lose 50% as leakages. Now, Mr. Banerjee is going to speak to us how these fundamental problems confronting water boards, utilities, and municipalities, how they can be solved using robotics and artificial intelligence based technology. So, Mr. Banerjee from Solinas, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Cherry, for the introduction.
You need to speak a little louder.
Yeah. Am I audible now? Is it perfect?
Yeah, it's not bad, but you can still go up.
Yeah, I will try. Is it perfect now?
Yeah, this is better. Go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you, Professor Cherry and WASH Innovation Hub for giving me the opportunity to talk on the World Environment Day. And I'm thankful to Professor Cherry for already creating the context of the problem we are trying to solve. So that makes easier for me to give the solutions. I will directly go to the presentations. So give me a time to share my screen. So yeah, I am Moinak Banerjee, and I am the head of products in Solinas Integrity and also the co-founder.
Devika, can you hear Mr. Banerjee's voice, or is do we need a little bit more audio?
It's a little bit on the feeble end. If you could just speak a little bit louder.
Speak a little closer to the mic. I think that should be fine.
Yeah. Is it perfect now?
This
is definitely better. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so I am Moinak Banerjee, and I am the head of products and co-founder of Solinas Integrity. And Solinas Integrity is a deep tech startup which is trying to revolutionize the water and sanitation sector in India with the intervention of advanced technologies. And we are present in two different sectors. One is water and sanitation, and I will try to move forward in the presentation and try to show what are the challenges we are trying to solve in two different sectors. In the water sector, we are trying to solve the problem of the loss of non-revenue water. Mostly, if you see in the pipelines in India, huge amount of water get lost through transportation. Around 40 to 50% of water get lost in any city in India while transportation due to these leakages and pilferages. And even you will be astonished to know that around 70% of water in India gets contaminated in transport. And this happens mainly because there was no technology intervention or any tools which helped us to predict or pinpoint the leaks in the pipeline so that timely intervention can be done. To solve this problem, we came up with a solution called Endobot, which is a hardware and software package, which not only helps us to pinpoint the leaks in the pipeline, but also give you a visual condition of the pipeline. How is the pipeline? What is the condition of the pipeline? If there is a presence of any leaks or defects, it also helps you to pinpoint the position in that in the pipeline so that you can easily intervene and resolve that. Other than that, it also helps you to predict the future leaks. So the data which is collected by these robots is then fed into our own algorithm, which help us to predict the future leaks which can happen in the pipeline according to the pipeline data that is collected by the robot. And generally, if you see our robots, we have the capability to go into any pipelines, water or sanitation, which has water or sewer, which has a size from 90 mm to 1000 mm. So we cover any pipelines starting from main pipelines to the branch pipelines, which go inside your to your house. The other problem we are trying to solve is the huge problem in India already. It's the problem of manual scavenging. So if you see in India, around more than 400 people, manual scavengers die every year while cleaning the septic tanks. And specifically why you need a human intervention is because there is no technology intervention in cleaning the septic tanks. What you see in septic tanks is when as it is not cleaned in frequent frequently over the years, the sludge which is deposited inside the septic tanks get hardened up over the year, and you need someone to go inside and dig it and take out the sludge so that it can be used for future cases. And by seeing this problem, the team of engineers, we realized that we can solve this problem with the help of technology intervention. And to solve this problem, we developed a robot called HomoSep, which is a homogenizing system. And this is a technology which can be integrated with any moving vehicle. In this case, if you can see, it's integrated with the tractor. So what it does is, it goes inside the septic tank, breaks down the sludge into small granular particles, and then suck out the sludge with the help of a suction system. What it does is that eliminates the complete human intervention and protects any human manual scavengers from any exposure to poisonous gases. So we have, as I already explained about the two products that we have, and we already have these products in the market. I will try to give you a case study about the different work we are doing in different parts of different cities in India. Currently, we have presence in around 5 to 6 cities. For the water sector, we have deployed robot in Mumbai. We have it in Mumbai in Ulhasnagar Municipal Corporation, with Bombay Municipal Corporation. We are working with Suez in Coimbatore. We are working with Chennai Metro Water in Chennai, Tweak in Trichy, and different places, around 5 to 6 cities in India. So one of the case studies which is very interesting for me is the case study in Trichy, where there was a problem in the main pipeline in the city, where around 50,000 people in that area was getting contaminated water, a dirty water, for a period of 6 months, and the local authorities were helpless to find out, to solve the problem. They are not able to find out why it is happening. And as a result, we use Endobot to do the intervention, and we found out the solution within 2 to 3 hours. What we realized is there was a crack in the main pipeline, which you can see in this picture, and that crack is letting different ducts and foreign materials to get inside the pipeline and contaminate the water. And the problem gets more challenging when you have a sewer pipeline running parallel to this water pipeline. And there was a crack in the sewer pipeline also. So what you see is a sewer water getting contaminated into the drinking water pipeline, which is a huge health hazard in that area. And through this solution, we not only saved thousands and lakhs of rupees, but also protected a lot of human beings from a lot of health hazards. In the other robot that I talked about is HomoSep. Currently, we are in the product sale stage, where we are delivering this robot to the different manual scavenging organizations around India. We have already delivered 2 robots to the Safai Karmachari Andolon in Chennai. And you can see one of my co-founders delivering the first robot that we have developed to Nagama. And Nagama is a wife of one of the manual scavengers who died last year while cleaning a septic tank, and we chose her as one of the first candidates to deliver our septic tank. Deliver our HomoSep product for our trial for the product sales. So we have a team of engineers and business people which helps these technologies to develop and also get deployed. So we have interesting people from different backgrounds. We have people from business, we have people from engineering and technology, and we have relevant experts from water and sanitation, which helps us to understand this sector and develop interesting solutions for this sector. Thank you. I am open for questions.
Thank you, Mainak. If you can take out the screen, we can have 1 or 2 questions.
Manik, something on cost would be great to know a little bit about.
Yeah, that's what I am asking, please.
Right.
This is Sudhakar.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Sure. Cost about the 2 different products that we have specifically?
Yeah.
So for the water sector, that the product that we have in Endobot, generally we have a different costing. If we do a product sale for that robot, that we do around 20 to 25 lakhs. But we have operations-based model also for that robot, where we do in a monthly basis. That will be a different, that will cost you around, if you have a robot rented for a period of a month, it will cost you around 2 to 3 lakhs. But we have, according to the distance of inspection we are doing, maybe if it is less than 5 kilometers, we do a per meter based of inspection, where the charge is around 250 rupees to 300 rupees per meter. For the robot that we have in septic tank, the HomoSep, we sell it for 20 lakhs. We are using it. We are not doing any operations as of now. We are selling it for 20 lakhs in the market. Yeah.
Thank you. So, as Mr. Moinak said, many of them are at different stages of maturity. As they move along, the cost will come down. It's not always that one should procure these products. They're also open to service models. Service model is basically where the service can be offered to a local body for inspecting X kilometers of a pipe network, or maybe X number of septic tanks. So we can also look at different business models, service models, not just only as an equipment. Now, what Mr. Moinak said is very, very important. Is like a James Bond going into a pipe network and trying to catch the thief. So that's what I think Moinak and his team are trying to do. They're going in they're sending a robot to spot where the pipelines are weak. Sometimes the pipelines are contaminated because the two, water and sewage, are going together. There are situations where ideally the sewage pipeline should be below the water pipeline, but sewage pipeline could be over the water pipeline also. There are many cases. So because of that, cross contamination happens. So they help to solve some of these problems. If I do it conventionally, I have to dig open the road and do the inspection. So there is a road cutting cost, there is a road filling cost, and then we have to check, because you can't pinpoint the problem. So you end up digging the road for a large tract. So I think this is a very interesting solution. Now, what Mr. Moinak also said about sanitation is very, very interesting. As we know, India has 70%, urban India has 70% septic tanks. And these septic tanks are not frequently decanted. As per the regulation, they have to decant once in 3 years. But it is never done. It is done once in 10 years and 15 years. Because of that, sludge gets thickened and people go in to dislodge the thickened sludge. And that's the solution that they are coming up with, where they, without getting into a manual entry into the septic tank, this solution can solve the problem. Both have not only implications in terms of environmental issues, but they can protect lives, as he has given example of Udupi as well as the robotics that he mentioned about. Thank you, Mr. Moinak. It's fabulous. Any other questions? We can take it up over the chat. And I would now move to the next speaker, which is Miss Kane. She's from PatCare. Basically, they are providing environmentally sustainable menstrual hygiene solutions. So this is another big challenge, non-degradable material. And Miss Aswari from PatCare, she's going to speak about what sort of solutions they have and how these solutions are important from environmental sustainability point of view, particularly on the World Environment Day today. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Chari, for having us here. So firstly, hi, I'm Asawari. Like Professor Chari said, I'm the founding member at PatCare Labs, and we have developed a solution for disposal and recycling of sanitary napkins. So I just share my screen and walk you through what we guys actually do. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
It is visible, yeah.
Thank you. So we are basically, like I said, we are into sanitary napkin disposal and recycling. Our main vision is to develop sustainable societies by enhancing hygiene standards. And to start with, we are doing this by developing basically recyclable and modern sanitation choices by making safer products for women to use. So we saw a looming disaster. So a single sanitary napkin, if you know, takes 800 years to decompose, and 98% of this goes to landfills and water bodies. So imagine every single sanitary napkin that was ever made on Earth is still on Earth. The main issue starts with awareness, wherein 33% of the girls are not even aware about what menstruation is, what happens, why does it happen, even before they get their menarche. The other issue is the accessibility to sanitary napkins or other MHM products like the tampons or menstrual cups at public places. The other major issue, which is mostly not really spoken about, is the disposal facility at source. So whenever I am in a public place, I don't know where I'm supposed to throw off these sanitary napkins. And of course, disposal is a big challenge altogether. So how we fixed it is that we conduct awareness camps at our client locations. So we talk about each and every problem when it comes to MHM. So we talk about the kind of food these people should eat, what kind of products that are available, how you're supposed to dispose them, why it occurs, and everything. The second product, that is the accessibility issue, is solved by Padcare Vend, which is a vending machine for sanitary napkins. And it is again installed at B2B, that is business to business organizations. Padcare bins, on the other hand, are the disposal bins, which are again placed inside individual cubicles, so they maintain your privacy and no one has to really know. The Padcare processing unit is our main, I would say, the unique selling point that we have, wherein we have developed a patented technology for disposal and recycling of it. So Padcare Vend, like I said, we have a tie-up with Procter & Gamble. So we provide you with Whisper sanitary napkins, and these are again loosely packed. So you have good quality, your hygiene is maintained, and this has a capacity of storing pads. You have customizable payment options, so you can either pay through your UPI code or through coin-operated options. This is again sleek and wall-mounted, so it does not really take up a lot of space in your washrooms. Padcare bin is something where our core technology starts. So this is a sensor-based bin which is placed inside individual cubicles. It comes with the Padcare WAP technology, which basically ensures secured collection inside the bin. So you can store these pads for up to 45 days without any increase in the bacterial load or the odor. So basically your hygiene is maintained. It also has a bin full lock, so you avoid the problem of overflowing. And since these bins are placed inside individual washrooms, I mean, everyone here spoke about manual scavenging. And one of the issues that manual scavengers also face is due to the flushing of these sanitary napkins, which eventually blocks the sewer systems. So that is something that we are solving right at the source. We have our dedicated team to collect this waste from your facility. So they'll visit your facility on either fortnightly or monthly basis, depending upon the footfall and the requirement, and we'll collect it, and based on our EHS policies, these are securely brought into our facility here in Pune, wherein they are processed. So this is our main processing unit, which currently has a capacity of processing almost 3,000 pads per day. The 5D technology that we spoke about is basically the disinfection, deodorization, decolorization, disintegration, and deactivation of superabsorbent polymer. So what we basically do is that we have a disinfectant solution which basically converts these used sanitary napkins into recyclable cellulose and plastic, which I have right here. So this material is something that has come from a used sanitary napkin. We also have the NPCB and NABL certifications in place. So what Padcare ecosystem basically looks like is we have these vending machines which are installed in your campuses. We have the disposal bins. Then this is collected, brought in, it is processed, you get the output. And what we do out of this material is that we are exploring the applications in packaging industry. So we have actually made these shoe shapers out of it. We have made these plant pots out of it. So that is how we are closing the loop. We are also exploring the applications of cellulose in other chemical industries, because cellulose is used as a raw material in many of the products. This could also go in as a fuel regarding the RDF pellets that we spoke about earlier. So on the organization level, what advantage do we provide to the organizations is basically we provide them with impact certificates, wherein we tell them, the carbon emissions that they have reduced, the kgs of materials that they have diverted from the landfills and diverted it to the land to recycling. So these impact reports basically help them to be used in their sustainability audits and gives them so they can show this as a part of their zero waste initiative. Or many organizations are now talking about going carbon neutral by 2025, 2030. So this is something that could help them. We also give these organizations a recycling certificate, which is again on the similar lines. So we are currently, we have tie-ups with different organizations. We are backed by different organizations like the Toilet Board Coalition, Dassault Systems, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, to name a few. We are also backed by Tata Trust and Infosys Foundations, wherein we are trying to run these projects in rural segments. We currently have almost 55 clients. So we are serving P&G, Mahindra, Sandvik, JSW, to name a few. So this is just a graph which basically shows a graph wherein the emissions that Mahindra Towers in Mumbai was generating before they had availed our facility. So this was the graph of the carbon emission that was growing, and suddenly with Padcare, it just came down to this. We are currently operating across 4 locations, and we also started Hyderabad just 2 days ago. We installed our units at Facebook, that is Meta. So currently we are serving more than 50,000 women and processing more than 1 lakh pads and saving 171 metric tons of carbon on monthly basis. We are lucky to have been mentored, guided by Mr. Anand Mahindra, Sudha Murthy throughout our journey. So yeah, I'm open to questions, and just if you want to reach out to us, we are right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Asavari, actually a biotechnologist, put her education into development sector. I think a fabulous job, Asavari, for bringing some of your solutions. So just explain to me, basically you take the normal used sanitary pads and then convert into, bring in the circular economy sort of a concept, and you bring out the material, relevant material, and then recycle it. Is that what you're doing? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
the concept of extended producer responsibility, is there any good response coming? Because there are a lot of big brands, actually, they produce these sanitary pads. Are they really supporting you in bringing this extended producer responsibility into actually action?
yeah, absolutely. In fact, the major giants, that is P&G, Kimberly-Clark, even Johnson & Johnson, we are constantly speaking with them, and we are trying to, close this loop wherein we could, they could use this as a data for their EPR. And P&G majorly is definitely looking into this.
So what support do you require from Pollution Control Board, if at all you need any support?
Yeah, so the thing is that considering the current SWM guidelines, sanitary waste is under solid waste, which was earlier under biomedical waste. There is a lot of confusion in that. And we are working with CPCB for technology approvals, because this is supposed to be incinerated. But again, under the BMW guidelines, you can still process it through the process that we are. So we are almost there, but it is taking time with the CPCB. And like once we have NOC from the CPCB, then that would be really great.
Thank you, Asavari. Malini, you have a question.
Yeah, this is on behalf of the questions in the chat box from Rama Devi Garu and Mr. Vijay, where they're trying to ask if any brand of sanitary pad can be used, or is there any specific brand that one has to use?
So you can dispose of any sanitary napkin, be it from any different company, be it biodegradable or non-biodegradable, or be it even the reusable cloth pads that you use. Each and every pad could be processed in our processing unit.
All right, thank you.
So, Asavari, what do you do with this cellulose? What is the major application?
Yeah.
What is the use case?
Is this shoe shaper visible to you?
Yeah, it is. It is.
So this is made out of our cellulose. We have also made these plant pots. I mean, is it visible?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, not bad.
So this is made out of our material. We are also working with a couple of big giants, automobile industries, for using this as a packaging material for their automotive parts.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chari, I would like to intervene here.
Yes, ma'am. Over to you.
Actually, NGT is quite interested in getting all these scientific.
Sir, I have one objection to this one.
No, just hang on, sir. Hang on. You see, you carry my name, so just wait for a minute. So, Neetuji, please go ahead. Just 1 minute, sir. Yeah.
So NGT is quite interested in collection of sanitary pads and proper disposal. I don't think they are going for recycling. They wanted like incineration type of thing. But problem you will be faced that collection is not separate from solid waste. We don't have any separate collection mechanism, because right now segregation itself is not proper. Then collecting sanitary pads separately in the house, it's quite difficult. So I think if we can break that taboo, some solutions will come. Till that time, it's quite Herculean task.
Definitely. In fact, we are running a couple of pilots in Pune in 3 housing societies, wherein we are trying the segregation as well. Because I understand definitely there is a lot of taboo, and handing my used sanitary napkin to an unknown person is probably not going to be very comfortable. But we are using a different operational model where their privacy is also maintained, and we are collecting and recycling it eventually.
Mangeshji, I'll come to you little later, but one more person wanted to ask. I can't see his name. It's on my name. So over to you. Mr. Chari Vedala, overspoke earlier, please. Okay, I don't see anybody speaking.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm
Yeah, please go ahead.
from New Delhi.
Yes.
I have a question to Madam Malini. That why you think that incineration of the blood-soaked pad is not necessary?
I would love to answer that, but I'll throw it back to Asavari, please.
I didn't get your question. Sorry, could you?
Why do you think incineration is not a better solution than this?
Yeah. So incineration is basically end of life cycle, to be very honest. The sanitary napkin, it has super absorbent polymer, it has plastic. So when you're burning a sanitary napkin, you basically emit around 5.8 kgs of carbon. It generates a lot of smoke. So this was my personal experience when I was in a hostel. And when I saw an incinerator for the first time, I had put my sanitary napkin there. And once I started the machine, the whole corridor was filled with smoke. Everybody was coughing. It was horrible. So eventually, when these incineration facilities are run on a large scale, the people who come in contact with those facilities eventually are, very, very prone to cancers. So we need to find a better solution to it.
We can have a separate conversation. There is a strong, group of thought process that incineration is important from the point of view of safety. But Asavari, I will park this question. Mr. Mangesh, you have something to ask. Over to you, Mr. Mangesh.
Yes, so I've keyed in my question in the chat box also. The point is, Asavari, most of the times, or rather every time, when women dispose of the pads, they include which is either a plastic bag or so. So while using while processing in the pad care unit, is it necessary to evacuate from those bags and merely put the soiled pad in the unit, or it's simply you can use along with the carrier bag that is being used for protecting the pad from leaking out? Yeah, sorry.
So basically, the normal human behavior is that it would either go in a plastic bag or it would be wrapped in a newspaper and then thrown. You cannot really change the human behavior. So we have developed a solution wherein either you wrap it in the newspaper or it is in a plastic bag or just in the cover that comes with the pad, everything could be processed. It is eventually segregated, and because we cannot really expect anyone to, have exposure to those used pads, because that is something that we do not, it is not hygienic, it is not safe. So the liner that we collect directly goes into our machine without any contact or anything. So yeah, that could be processed.
Thank you. I think we can take one-on-one some of these questions, and I would request Ashavari to also respond some of the questions in the chat box.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a domestic hazardous waste. It is hazardous. So we need to handle with care, number one. Number two, there are also social norms around this. So we need to be aware of that. That's what Asavari is trying to do. Thank you very much. Now we move to the last presentation in this segment. We have with us Mr. Nikki Kumar Jha. He is a founder of Urine Analytics. This is a very new solution, very, very interesting, I would say, startup, which is trying to do an interface between health and sanitation. This is a combination of bringing both sanitation and health checkup together. And you will hear more about it through Nikki. Nikki is a founder of this initiative, and I'm super happy to invite him and request Nikki to start the session.
So namaste everyone, and thank you, Chari sir. So it's always great to hear you, and so enthusiasm you carry always and in this discussion as well. So I am Nikki, founder of Urine Analytics. So let me share my screen. Let's share a presentation. So is my screen visible?
Yes,
yes, it is.
Yeah.
So basically, we are from Urine Analytics. So we have developed a plug and play device that can be retrofitted into any existing public urinals and toilet, so that people can go urinate and in the real time, they can have access to all their healthcare information on their smartphone. So you might be wondering how it is possible even. So let's go. So the journey started when I was in Europe. So I got a call from my home that my father is ill. So he was having so I directed the entire house to go to the hospital to get him a checkup. So he was having a gallbladder stone. So I had to return because I was the most eldest one in the family. So I had to take the ticket, return back to my house. So I took my dad to the hospital. I talked to the doctor and tell him to operate. So lucky enough that the operation was good enough and he's healthy now. But the time he was in operation theater, that was the most most tense time for me actually. So I was thinking how I I haven't taken my father for any preventive health checkup. So that's why this type of kiosk has happened. So I was thinking and I was blaming myself that how I can be this fool. So then I randomly, because anyway, that was a very hard time and time was not passing on. I don't know, like some interesting concept of relativity is here. So the time doesn't pass when it's a hard time. Time was not passing. So I took out my phone and just started to Google it. And I was amazed that just forget about the common man. 98% of the millennials, and even in the first world, doesn't go for any kind of preventive healthcare checkup. So I quickly, it gives me a gamut of questions, why even is it money a constraint? If it could have money a constraint, then first world people could have gone, but it was not the money as a constraint. So while then suddenly what it happened that my bladder got full and I had an urge for urination, and while I was in the urinal, so there was a naphthalene ball kept, and when my urine interacted with the naphthalene ball, so the color of the naphthalene ball got changed. That was the eureka moment for me. So there I thought, can I make certain kind of naphthalene ball that when an unhealthy person urine interact with that ball and the color changes. So that was the eureka moment, and from there we have started the our entire journey. So with that, that was I got the idea and I came out, and then I and today we built a system. So it's not only about it's not only about only one aspect of, like, if I talk about kidney, if I talk about diabetes, these are one of the major health causing, death causing disease in India. And if I had to say, I'll say in an analogy ki sabhi mile hue hain. It means if you have a kidney, you are highly prone to have diabetes, you are highly prone to have hypertension, you are highly prone to have a cardiovascular disease. So all are linked, and so it is very necessary to hunt these all into when you are when early stage. So and the biggest problem with the people is that everybody thinks that he is a Bahubali. But believe me, there is a hidden katappa in terms of your chronic healthcare disease, which is there with you every time, but you are not knowing it, that he is going to kill you. And the similar thing happens, with a very strong lady, the co-founder of Zerodha's wife. So she was diagnosed with cancer, and she was feeling that she is the most healthiest person on the planet. So we are here to find out the katappa at very early stage. So this is our solution. I'll just play a small video. So you just enter the urinal and scan the QR code and you start peeing, just it. And once your peeing is done, then you get a SMS, or you get a email, whatever way you have decided to take the report. You get the messages, and then you have all the reports available on your smartphone. So we are not here to scare you in the urinals. We are not here. So we have given a gamut of possibilities, which definitely I'm going to share it in the next slide. So here's, see how beautifully we are giving the report. So these are so currently we are giving report about sugar, uric acid, hypertension, kidney, your pH, your specific gravity. So these all are parameters we are checking with our reusable electrochemical sensors, and we have developed proprietorship technology to check this. Oh, I had to go to next slide. Yeah. So can you like this is the interesting report which we give. So it's not only about, you know, if something got detected at our source or at the urinal, then we refer to you a gamut of possibilities. Like, you know, we tell you about your hydration status. We tell you about, like, you know, how your diet plan should be, how much sugar or how much crabs you need to intake, and what is like also we give you about your physical examination. We give you about your chemical examination of urine. Even we give you some kind of Ayurveda suggestions as well. So these are the gamut of possibilities which we offer after, like, you know, if something gets detected. So you can see, like, you know, these were the very initial prototype which we thought of. Then we have deployed one of the recently we have finished one of our pilot at IIT Kanpur, and people were super excited. People were referring this solution like anything. So we have like, you know, we got a crowd of around 500 people at once, and we were unable to handle it. So now we are like coming up with more devices. So, you know, where we are. So right now, we want to operate in the intersection and convergence and convenience of need. So basically, you know, for the preventive healthcare checkup, there was an absolute need, but there was not a convenience. So we want to be, like, you know, a very convenient solution which you so you need not to go and wait in a queue or have a mental pressure to pee in a box. So when I was doing some, like, you know, doing our market survey, and we were talking about the peoples, so people were very reluctant peeing in a box, because some people, like, you know, answered with very, like, you know, they had to take bath after peeing in the box. And also it was also like, you know, yeah, so yeah. And also it was like they spill out the urine. And with the patient like Parkinson, this is like, you know, I was talking to a Parkinson patient. He was like, he hugged me like this is the solution he was needing. So and this type of things keep motivating us. So basically we are there to provide you a reliable health data to take action against underlying disease. So, you know, this is the our take home. Like, you know, we are here to cater to the smart cities. We are here to, like, you know, incorporate ecosystem of health dimension into sanitation. So probably we are going to be one of the pioneer company doing that. And also we are here to help cities and help governments to know the data of health data of the occupant, and help government to form policies as well. And also, you know, you people come and urinate in our system, they have the history of their health data. That is also very important, and automatic generated history will be there. So these are the gamut of possibilities which are there. So yeah, so currently we were the winner of FICCI award as well, where Inc. was supported us a lot, and I'm very happy for that. And yes, we are here to create a most compelling toilet ecosystem brand. And our image is Service and Niramaya. May everyone live happy. May everyone be free of illness. Thank you. We are Team Urna.
Thank you, Nikki. So you can take down the slide. Yeah, this is fantastic. So friends, what Nikki has explained is a very fabulous initiative where preventive healthcare, which is often ignored in our country and all over the world, is what they are trying to look at by analyzing urine in the toilet blocks, and then the data will come instantly because they have the sensor technology, and the data will help like a biomarker. It's like a sort of an indication of the health situation of an individual. Now, this is a very interesting, unique solution that Nikki Jha has presented today. Thank you very much, Nikki. There are a couple of questions quick before I hand over. Number one, is it only for men, or you are also trying to fix it to the women toilets? I mean, WCs.
Yeah, so basically right now we are piloting with men's urinal, because getting data is easier there. But we have designed the fixtures for female urinals as well, sir.
Okay. The second question is, you know, it's a confusion. People have, you know, if somebody urinates in a urine containment, and then the next person comes again on top of it, again urinates, will it result in cross-contamination? And already we get very suspicious about these lab reports, and on top of it, you are contaminating two different people's urine and giving me a result. How does it work?
So basically, if you look at our technology, so we have a 3 cross-check. It's not only about 1 cross-check about the contamination. We have 3 cross-check. First cross-check is we are only installing the system in those urinals right for now, which have auto flush facility, so that people who goes, it gets auto flushed. The second thing is we have invented a solution. We call it SLIP. SLIP is a sprayable lyophobic integrated polycoat. So that's a coating that we do on a urinal, and it makes the urinal super hydrophobic. So we have designed the coating in a way that even albumin, that is the highest binding protein, that also can't stuck in a urinal. So we have invented that SLIP coating so that the urinal can't get even stick into the corner of the urinal, and this way we are saving 90% of the flush water as well. So this is another a venture coming out from this, the parent technology. And third thing is we are calibrating every time the people is using the urinal, we are calibrating our sensor with the flush water. So the flush water, we taste it flush water, and we adjust our sensor like this. So even when the sensor gets that these 3 things are there, then only it gives a green signal, else there is a red signal. If there is a red signal, we don't allow people to urinate, or it acts as the general urinal if it's a red, and if it's a green, it becomes an intelligent urinal.
Okay, thank you. Are there any quick questions? Otherwise, Dr. Malini, any observations from your side?
Just one question, sir. There was about the business model. How does it pay? Is it a pay and use, Mr.
Wow,
Dave?
this is a fantastic question, and I have a very fantastic answer to this. We are going to be the one and only startup, I'm claiming here, right here, who is going to pay you to come and urinate on our system.
Okay.
That's our business model.
So, Mr. Dave, if you agree it's a fantastic answer, please use a reaction and put a thumbs up button there.
Sir, you should take it to every school, and then I think this can be promoted. Thank you very much, Mr. Nikki, for responding to this. Fabulous. So I think we had 5 interesting presentations, starting from satellite technology to urine analytics. In between, you have recycling. So I think each of them have its role in solving the water and sanitation problems of our country. And this summary and this analysis will be done by Dr. Malini. I don't want to encroach into her space, but on behalf of all of you, I would like to thank all the speakers. Now I invite Dr. Malini to give her observations, give her her views about how these things are relevant for our country, for our compliance with SDGs and for basic communities, and then what can be done to scale up some of these solutions. I think these are very, very important questions. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor Chari. I'm not going to do all those tough things, but I'll do something easier than what you said. So firstly, I want to thank Neetu ma'am for setting the tone for the entire day, for setting priorities for all the WASH professionals who are attending this event, and for sitting through all the presentations today and being such an active participant and bringing her bit. I think when we have an officer who sets the tone by comparing wastewater with gold, we are really in safe hands. And it's very inspiring when we have an officer who speaks on these lines and motivates all of us to take things forward. So thank you, ma'am, for joining and for staying on throughout the event. Devika, can you please mute the participants? I'd also take this opportunity to thank all these speakers for not just talking about their brilliant technologies, but really giving us so much food for thought. Mr. Pranav, thank you for sharing about your freshwater app, how we can use satellite imagery for situation analysis, your deep analysis for solutioning, looking at the root cause analysis. And really what a great takeaway is, how do we move from a mindset of a reactive water management to a mindset of a proactive water stewardship? I think that's a great takeaway for everyone here. It's not just about figuring out how to fix the problem, but it's more about how do I fix what is not yet broken. So I think thank you very much and very, very insightful. And I think this is something that all the cities are actually quite comfortable using satellite imagery for various things. And this is something which is easily adopted. And we will love to work with you in helping cities take up the adoption process. Shweta, thank you for bringing Anthill Creations to all of us. This is something which resonates with every heart. A smile on a child's face is something that all of us strive for, because ultimately that's what we are working towards. Upcycling of waste materials at such a short time and at such low cost is a gold mine for corporates. It's a great opportunity because they can bring that kind of impact. It's a great opportunities for cities who are looking at making a mark. I think all the smart cities should immediately look this up as one of their key interventions, and all the ones who have unfortunately not been listed as a smart city should take it up as a challenge and implement this immediately to say that you are smarter than the smart cities, so-called listed smart cities. So I think this is such a beautiful intervention and so simply can be placed. And I love the catch line where you said from scrap yards to schoolyards. What a simple, just like your technology, such a beautifully captured tagline. Mr. Banerjee, you are supporting through Solinas not just mechanization of processes, but you are helping people in getting a dignified life. And I think there is no greater contribution to the sanitation field than what you're doing. Of course, use of robots for preventive maintenance, leak detection, predicting issues is absolutely a requirement. And it's in line with our first presenter who said prevention is better than reaction. Of course, Professor Chari tried to spoil all of us glamour of James Bond by bringing him into the sewage line. So I'm going to totally take up with him as to why he spoiled our weekend and James Bond's impression. But kudos to you, and we wish more power to you. And I think your model of service rather than procuring the equipment is going to be something that'll work very well with the cities. So how do you take this like a SaaS model and make it accessible for even small cities with limited budgets? That would be critical for a big uptake of the technology. Padcare, Asawari, I think such a comprehensive approach, because most of the time implementation takes place in one part of the MHM value chain. Either we have people who are looking at creating awareness, or we are looking at treatment systems, or just providing access to the material. So I think you're one of the very few people who've thought through a very comprehensive solution end to end. It's already very, very understandable as to how this is used in institutional setups. I think the way forward really is to make it more and more amenable for use even at an individual household level. That's a challenge I think you're already doing, and very happy to know you're here in Hyderabad. Facebook is a good start. My team member have to help me with this.
Can somebody mute Mr. Satyasagar?
Yeah. I'm seeing images which I rather not see. So if you could just stop that. There are a lot of kids in school bus. So can you just do something about the video stopping? Yeah. So, so I think it'll be wonderful to see it move towards individual, and also how RWAs can adopt that. And Nikki, your product is a dream for anyone who is living with a hypochondriac. And I live with 2 of them in my house, and I'm waiting for this technology to mature so that I can put it in my house immediately. because otherwise my routine is to take my folks for tests every month, and I would love to avoid that. So I think this is something which is a brilliant, brilliant contribution to healthcare. At an individual level, obviously it is great, but I think at an institutional level also, it is such a good selling point for an organization to say that from an HR point of view, we have this fitted in our washrooms and we care for our employees. So this can actually become a great branding tool for organizations to project themselves as employee friendly. So I think the scope is tremendous, and we really look forward to be part of your journey. So with that, I'm now going to close by giving an extremely hard sell on what we do as WASH Innovation Hub. We work with innovators. We love looking at ideas. We help them brainstorm. We help them use us as a soundboard to fine-tune their technology. We can help you prototype. We can help in fine-tuning the business model. We can support cities in connecting them with the right technologies, right innovators to help them solve the issues related to water sanitation. So please do reach out to us. We will also bring you funds. So please do reach out to WASH Innovation Hub. My colleagues will put in the email ID as well as website. Feel free to contact us and do join us for similar webinars that we'll be conducting over the next few months. So thank you very much, and over to Professor Chari.
Thank you, Dr. Malini. So I think one of the important component of WASH Innovation Hub is to work with the governments, so that governments actually change the procurement norms for these innovators to come and embrace. That's very, very important. It's not easy to get some of these solutions into the government procurement system. So one of the important job that we have on hand is to help governments to simplify the procurement system so that the innovators can come and work. For example, the public toilets that we have in most of the cities under Swachh Bharat Mission, often we complain that people don't use these toilets, they go outside the toilet for behavior reasons. Now, if I put urine analytics and if citizens get free health checkup, probably the behavior will change and they start using these public conveniences for, if not for urination, if at least for the health reasons. So there are a lot of synergies, a lot of good things that can happen with these innovations. And we believe these innovations actually will be the game-changing pathway for India to achieve sustainable development goals. And that's what government of Telangana's dream is all about, not just for Telangana, but across the country. So thank you very much. We conclude with a short video on WASH Innovation Hub as a initiative of Government of Telangana. So we will just close the webinar watching this video, and then we will wrap it up. Thank you very much, all the speakers. Devika, you can play the video.
Telangana, the youngest state of India, has rapidly emerged as an innovation capital of India. The dynamic leadership, presence of knowledge institutions, and top-class talent have catalyzed innovation culture. Telangana has built a vibrant ecosystem to promote startups and innovators. Municipal Administration and Urban Development Department, Government of Telangana is pleased to announce WASH Innovation Hub, a game-changing initiative to promote innovations in water, sanitation, and hygiene sectors. WASH Innovation Hub aims to enable India achieve Sustainable Development Goals 6.0 targets well ahead of time. Established in partnership with the Administrative Staff College of India, the WASH Innovation Hub has 8 service lines: scientific research, idea sourcing, incubation, design prototyping, piloting, scaling up, financing, knowledge sharing, capacity building. WASH Innovation Hub focuses on fecal sludge and septage management, solid waste management, water, used water, energy, hygiene. WASH Innovation Hub is currently working with over 600 startups and innovators to creatively solve problems confronting our cities and local bodies on a mission mode. Join us in this endeavor. Partner with us to positively impact public health and environment and create green jobs. Wash Innovation Hub, a first of its kind dedicated innovation ecosystem for wash to transform India.
So thank you, friends, and we will meet again in the next segment of Wash Innovation Hub series. We'll bring more innovators, more interesting ideas to have a conversation around. I encourage all the cities to reach out to these innovators and then brainstorm with them and then try to source them wherever it is possible. Thank you very much and good evening. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Neetu ma'am, for staying on.
Last words by Neetu ma'am would be great to hear.
Would you like to say a final word from your side after witnessing all the presentations?
I think it's a very good initiative, whatever you are starting, because young people are coming and presenting their new ideas, which are like quite unorthodox. Sometimes like about that pad thing, it's quite revolutionary, or even urinal related health project is also. So keep it up and move through these innovations. We are with you.
Thank you. Good evening, friends. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Sir, will the presentations and link be shared?
Yes, it's there on the, you please go to the website. You will find all of this information and more presentations also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.